Hi all, today's episode will take place at a beach. We will meet a lot of crabs, and they are one of my favorite animals. They are known to have an exoskeleton, and a lot of you will then argue that that's quite different from humans, who are known to have a skeleton inside their body. But if you take into account that we humans are mostly thoughts and self-awareness inside our brains, you could consider us just brains with an exoskeleton that is covered in flesh and organs. So that's quite different, but the base is the same. Yeah, crabs are quite cool. You have a lot of species, more than 4,000, and some even say more than 6,200. There's an important difference between the true crabs and the false crabs. True crabs will have a very short abdomen. They will have 10 legs. Two of them are the big clams, and then you have 4 pair of walking legs. The false crabs will have a much longer abdomen, and they will have less walking legs. An important example of the false crabs is actually the king crab, quite known. So if you're eating king crab, you're not eating a real crab. Not that you have to do that, because it is proven that crabs can feel pain and that they will also remember it. So caution is advised. Another interesting fact about crabs is actually that they do not have teeth inside their mouth, but some species will have teeth inside their stomach, so they can actually rip apart food that they eat by contractions of the stomach. So I think that's really cool. Very impressive. The word for cancer in medicine is derived from the Latin word for crab, and that's because Greek physiologists, so kind of Greek MDs, like Hippocrates, they saw a resemblance between the swollen tumor and the veins surrounding it and the appearance of a crab. So that's where the name cancer comes from. So we just climbed over a telescope, which is actually invented a lot earlier than I would have guessed. The invention took place in the 16th century by a Dutch scientist, Hans Lippershey. I had never heard of him, but it took a few years to become more mainstream. It was actually Galileo who made it popular, so to say. He was the first to look at the sky with a telescope, and he discovered Jupiter's moons, for example. However, he did decide later to also look at the sun, which could well have caused his later blindness. So not that smart in the end. And then later on, it was Isaac Newton who made the telescope more useful for scientific research. So we will now be climbing the trees to reach the kite that will take us further into the game. I didn't know a single thing about kites when I started this video, but it appears that they originate in China. Very early too. It was first written about in a document that was written around 200 before Christ, and the kite in that document was used by a Chinese general, and he used it to attack a city. So it would originate from China, but during Cultural Revolution it was actually banned from China. If you would be caught flying a kite, you could risk 3 years in jail. So there was quite an evolution Not fully sure how they stand on kites today, but there has been a lot of evolution in kites. There are very, very large ones. The longest kite is 1,034 meters long, so that's gigantic. And if you look at the largest kite, it's 630 square meters. So they will go moderately fast most of the time, but they can actually go really, really fast. I looked it up, and the fastest kite, so the record for the fastest kite is 193 kilometers an hour. So that's a lot more than I can drive with my car. I guess another interesting fact is that in 1760, flying a kite was banned in Japan because they assumed that a lot of people would prefer flying kites to going to work. So they banned the whole flying kite in Japan. But it can actually be really useful for your work because if you look at Benjamin Franklin, he actually used the kite to prove that lightning was electricity. So you see, it can have its advantages to fly with kites and to have some fun in your life. So that will be it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you for the next one. Have a nice evening.